I was thinking about my creative writing project where I've kind of lost it. I've kind of lost it. So I had made a gem that is uh, page one. It just writes a novel out of my corpus. Page one, high science fiction. This is Jim is programmed for a little bit of gore, sexuality, uh, things like that. But I was thinking, how do you write? How do you write? I'm gonna have Jeff inside the ship. It was good to have that gym thing going. It kind of jiggled up my memory. Inside the ship with Alara. Okay, what is he doing? He's trying to fix the void drive. uh, Maybe we have him doing stuff. What's happening though? Jeff is inside the ship with Laura. He's trying to fix the void drive. And it just, look, watch this. Jeff, he's inside the ship with Laura. He's trying to fix the void drive. And I'm gonna tell it to do like parawriting. Okay. Continue from this. I type a fragment. You write a fragment. Right. Okay, we'll continue from this. So I'm gonna read what that did. Uh, the air inside the maintenance crawl space was thin, tasting metallic and recycled. Jeff braced his boots against the vibrating bulkhead, his wrench hovering over the primary coolant manifold. So we have him doing stuff. Above the low frequency thrum of the ship, the void drive groaned. A sound like tectonic plates grinding together in a vacuum. Now, this is very much general audience. We could change it to high science fiction. And with like a whole lot of Lacanian psychology thrown in or something. Okay, whatever. That was this command was. You did it, he said, the voice quiet in the sudden stillness. And Laura finally turned, a faint, tired smile touching her lips. We did it, though I think the void drive is officially holding a grudge against us, Jeff. Whatever I typed in, parabaiting, continue from this. I type a fragment, you write a fragment, said the void drive computer in a half correct, half incorrect tone of voice or whatever. You see how much I saw it? Jeff chuckled. The sound raspy against the quiet and reached out to catch a floating casing of coolant fluid that had escaped the manifold's breach. A grudge. That's a sentient void anchor, Alara. It doesn't have grudges, it has appetites. He stood up, his knees popping in the confined space, and pointed towards the diagnostic monitor where the power curve was finally flattening into a steady, rhythmic pulse. But look at that, he added, his eyes narrowing as he stated the readout. That oscillation is not smoothing out entirely, but settling into a pattern. Elara checked the console. Both standard and non-standard physics cannot, both standard and non-standard physics can't explain the flat line of the curve, she said. She typed hurriedly. Lacanian analysis suggests psychoactive agent, psychoactive agency within a corridor. You know how people be talking at the console. Jeff paused, his hand hovering over the coolant release. Psychoactive. He let out a sharp, incredulous laugh. It quickly died in the confined space. You're suggesting the drive isn't just misaligned. You're telling me it's observing us. He shifted, peering over her shoulder at the stream of data. The 8 corridor was glowing a deep blues violet, almost schematic. A section of the drive that shouldn't have been active at all, let alone transmitting cognitive patterns. If the Lacanian theory holds, Elara murmured, her fingers slowing as she deciphered the frantic looping feedback, then it isn't just reacting to our inputs, it's projecting its own lack onto the engine's output. Jeff, the drive is trying to negotiate. Negotiate what? Jeff said, as a rule, as a rule, I don't negotiate with anything. I always have a gun on me and another nearby. He flexed his biceps. The Omega State Alliance had determined that no guns should be available aboard the USS Archon, a Chiron. But Jeff and some of the guys had snuck shotguns and pistols on board. Elara looked at him and rebuffed. I think there's something else aboard this ship. She said. So our antagonist has made a move. The antagonist. That is the antagonist. I think something else is aboard this ship, she said. Jeff Scott. You can see where he's getting mad. You can see where he's getting mad in the previous. Jeff Pauls. Yeah. Jeff scoffed. His fingers instinctively brushing the cold, reassuring weight of the kinetic pistol holstered at his hip, a defiant lump beneath his coveralls. Rules are for people who don't have to keep an engine from eating their own souls, said Laura. Whatever this thing thinks it's doing, it doesn't get to hold the crew hostage. He moved to the wall panel, ripping off the magnetic cover to reveal the hidden rack where a short barrel shotgun was magnetically locked, its matte black finish absorbing the dim emergency lighting. Elara didn't even look at the weapon. Her eyes were locked on the monitor, her face pale as she pulled up a secondary sensory array that bypassed the ship's main core. Stop thinking about the hardware, Jeff. Look at the heat signatures. She pointed to a flicker in the thermal map of the cargo bay, 3 decks down. It wasn't a mechanical spike or an engine flare. It was a rhythmic, pulsing warmth, moving in a pattern that was distinctly, terrifyingly biological. The void drive isn't the problem, she whispered, her voice trembling. It's a distraction. Something else climbed aboard while we were in the drift, and it's using the drive to feed. Chapter 2. Bulkhead. Inside the cabin, Jeff strapped in. Laura seat up and buckle up. I'm turning our artificial gravity off to save battery, he said. She paused. She wasn't about to do what he says anymore. He has become a patriarchal motherfucker. She paused. I'm trying to work on the console. She whined. Jeff had a slight look of paranoia for a moment. Things have been fine on board. This is so juvenile until the void drive broke. The console had spit out a strange message, and Elara interpreted it as a psychological signal. She began. She was now standoffish as the thing aboard the ship seemed more man Jeff hoped that by strapping in or shutting off the artificial gravity that he could pull up the rear deck's visual system to see what was going on. Alara was at the console, though. Has she sent a message to this thing before he acted? She was quite good at reading Jeff's thoughts, knowing where he was at all times. Jeff's fingers tightened on the manual override lever. Is she the enemy? Is she the antagonist? No, that's just the love interest. That's a woman. Jeff's fingers tightened on the manual override lever. His knuckles white. He could feel the ship's momentum shifting beneath him. This is a lot of tension. And I'm gonna stop. It's a lot of fucking tension. There seems to be like no release to it. It's just like tension over like the whole chapter 1. And tension over chapter 2, which I suffer from anxiety. I suffer from anxiety. I'm always tense. I never release in real life. So I think it kind of stop there. This is just writing. This is just writing. The story I was working on is just fucking writing. I'm trying to remember the last time I was doing some creative writing. It was about a guy who was involved in projects. It was about a guy. I think his name is John. He's just like he's moved. He's 40 something years old. He's involved in projects. He's isolated. He's an aggressive person, and his car is starting to break down, which was his source of power. That was his freedom. So, was the story I was working on. Is how